Hey there, in this video we're just going to continue with the MPLS part for AS10, and because this will be quite long, this MPLS part is split in more videos, and in this video we're going just to check the task, and actually more tasks, and make a list of what we need to configure. So let's start with this particular one. We see that we're asked to use RSVP to establish LSPs between PE nodes, and these MPLS tunnels should have the following requirements. And I'll just write here, all tunnels must use the same source, loopback 1, so command global config command to set MPLS tunnels source, and it's a command. I think you already know it, but we need to apply that. Then we need to use a scalable way to configure all tunnels on 15 and 16, and you could actually do this two ways, actually with groups. I'm thinking about auto tunnels mesh and with groups. With groups it might be possible, but you still need to configure each tunnel, and that's the reason for which we'll use auto mesh. So auto tunnels mesh on 15 and 16, and groups. I would also like to show you how they work, but it really bothers me in this version that after I reboot I lose the group configuration, and I really need to reapply it every time, and I won't be using any groups in these videos, but I strongly recommend you work with them, and actually maybe you might also want to use them at the exam. Then we need to load balance the traffic for these tunnels between R11 and R12. So what I actually mean with this task is that I want this tunnel from 11 to 12. I actually want two tunnels that load balance the traffic through R13 and 14. And I'll just write here load balance, and we'll see how it's done. Then tunnels should have a metric of 10, and also and 12 metric of 10. We'll see where we configure that. And let's see here, it's all about BGP. We don't have anything else. Here is about the layer 3 VPN. We don't care about that. Here is the multicast VPN part. Okay, this has something to do with our tunnels. So QS, so that's the tunnels. What this means, that actually means DST, differentiated services traffic engineering, and the model must ensure isolation across all class types. And this actually means that we need to configure MAM, not RDM, not the Russian dolls model, which I can't remember what RDM stands for, but for MAM, I think it's multi-allocation or something like that. So we need to configure this model, and it seems like we actually need to reconfigure the TE class to CP mappings to class types, because you have something else by default. We'll check what's the default when we're going to the CLI. Then this is for the MPLS TE part, max 1 gig, and we should allocate 900 Ms for BC0 and okay, and 100 megs for BC1. And then these tunnels should have, so let me write this here, so 15, 16 auto mesh, and again another thing to do for these tunnels, it's just 10 M reservation for class type 1, and these ones need 100 MB reservation for CT0. I'll move this MPLS part here because it's going to be the first one. And actually these also are under the MPLS part. And this is in global, and this is just the tunnels configuration. I'm thinking about this TE command. We'll figure it out. So then we have this ISIS and BGP security, and this has nothing to do with RSVP. Let me share with you now some good documentation, because DST is quite difficult. I actually struggled a bit to understand the difference between multi-allocation and Russian dolls models, and I have two links for that. So the first one is this link from Huawei, even though this is a Cisco, somehow a Cisco course. I'm only configuring Cisco devices. So this is the document. I'll share this with you also. And these are the default mappings in Huawei. In Cisco, they are different. But here you see what all these mean. So what CT stands for, what bandwidth constraint stands for. Actually, it has kind of a dictionary here. So CT, not this one, but I think it was somewhere else. Actually, it goes over everything: bandwidth constraints, bandwidth, and this very good graphic representation about RDM and maximum allocation, not multi-allocation, but maximum allocation. So this is really good, very good document. But then you will need to configure these on XR, so you can check this document right here, implementing MPLS traffic engineering on ISXR, and we actually also have here the DST part, and here you have the TE class mapping. So by default we have TE class 0 to class type 0 and priority 7, and we need to change these, but I just wanted to show you the default ones. And if I remember correctly, you also have some configuration here. Yeah, you just need to search it by yourself. I'm not just going to go over everything as I just told you in the beginning. I'm just configuring and show you how to configure and verify, and just briefly discuss about that particular feature. And we're done with the overview. In the next part, we're going to configure to do this MPLS part, and then after that, in a separate video, the tunnels configuration.